Well done. Welcome everyone to Tabletop Tuesday. Hi, how's it going? Hi. We're here to basically talk and educate everyone on D&D and Pathfinders. That's what we're here to do. But a couple quick announcements before we get into that. Announcement number one, our sponsor for the foreseeable future, Shockbite Gaming Servers. Link is down below. Servers start at $2.50 and go up from there. Announcement number two, we have artists that we always attempt to assist, and if you want to help them out, there's the links to them. By all means, please check them out. They're always needing commissions, so check that out. Other than that, announcement number three, we're still doing the Extra Life thing for every $10 for $10. If you donate $10 or more, goddamn, if I could talk today, there's a free game list. We can offer you one of the games from that list. So please check that out. Awesome. So, of course, because it's Tabletop Tuesday, we have our wonderful partner in crime for Tabletop Tuesday, CandidGamera.
Hello, hello.
And last week we discussed this is loud. Okay, let me turn this down. Last week we discussed bards.
Indeed.
And that was kind of entertaining. That was something that you have to
Mm-hmm.
and I have some experience, but not as much as you.
Welcome, traveler.
Drizental, welcome. Grab yourself welcome to the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun, and don't fireball my tavern. Alright. So yeah, last week we discussed, is this Jurassic Park? Yeah, I'm playing Jurassic Park in the background while we're talking about D&D. Because I always play some sort of game in the background while we discuss D&D. So that way there's something visually entertaining while we're chatting. At least I try to keep it that way. I'm doing fine. Firestar, thank you. And of course, Anne is here. Thank you, Firestar, for the 5 minutes to check in. Anne is here.
By kissing their boo-boos and slapping the bitch who made the boo-boo.
So, this week we're going to be talking about Clerics. One of the most versatile classes in the game, honestly, when it comes to filling various roles.
I would say that that's true.
Anne thinks it's the best class in the game. It's her favorite. She's not biased.
It's certainly been strong since 3rd edition D&D and later.
Yeah, I would agree. They've definitely done a great job buffing. And the best way to describe it to the newbies, is with a little limerick I learned from a video that I found online. And I'm going to quote the video, so if you ever want to look up the video, by all means, I'll tell you what video it is. Alright, she's stealing my knife. Alright, so the limerick is as follows. Now this may sound rather odd, but sometimes the strongest in the squad is the one with the cross who can smite like a boss by harnessing the bitch slap of God. With a mace that even ogres will flee, you'll smite and crush things with glee. Some think they're not strong, and I think you're wrong. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D. And that's from Joe Cat's crap guide to D&D. And that's a good way to explain Clerics in a nutshell. A lot of newer players tend to think that they are heals only. And if you tend to think that, you're gonna basically have a bad day with...
You're gonna piss off your cleric.
With Cleric. If you play a Cleric. And the reason behind that is... Well, let's be brutally honest. They can do a lot of things other than just heal. Now, they can heal better than most other classes, I will say that.
Yep.
And they're damn good at it.
Yep.
But that's not the only thing they can do. And so, let's talk about some of the other things they get.
Well, I mean, I'd like to back up just a second to look at the healer thing. There's a reason people have that perception of clerics, and
Yeah.
Way back in the day when D&D was first coming out, it evolved from a war game. So you had fighting men, and then you got magic users.
Oh yeah.
Then you got thieves, and cleric, for being the 4th class really added to the game as a concept, has become kind of fundamental to parties because of that healing power. They do it so well that a lot of people just kind of think of it as their whole role. But that's only a part of what they could do. Now, 2nd edition D&D, up until about that point, yeah, your cleric was a heal bot to some extent, but 2nd edition started introducing your specialty priests, so you had some cool other flavor abilities. But 3rd edition, you had the channel abilities, you had some some really cool variations going on there, that's when we started to see this explosion, and people started to think, well, maybe the cleric doesn't have to be just a heal bot, but still, some people think of it that way.
Yeah, some people are still stuck in that old mindset.
Yes.
And that is part of a problem. Now, don't get me wrong. If you need a healer in the party, you're gonna have a hard time finding someone better than a cleric.
The only exception that comes to mind for me is in Pathfinder, a life oracle will generally outperform a cleric at that thing.
Yeah.
But it's a rare exception.
Yeah, that's a very rare exception. If you're talking about just raw HP healing. Now, there's other things you can do with cleric, though, that can be kind of interesting on top of healing. You can still do healing as well as other things. Alright? So,
you're not just a healer.
And even if you want to do healing, you can still do these things on top of the healing.
Yes.
First things first, as a cleric, you are consistently in heavy armor. Like most clerics in most versions of D&D, you have heavy armor.
Yeah, I think the worst of the recent D&Ds is you start out with medium armor proficiency,
I think,
and shield, so you can be very well protected.
Yeah, medium armor and shields in 5th Ed.
Right.
Which is still really good. And that's kind of craziness. Stat-wise, clerics really have, in 5th Ed, only 2 stats they really need.
Mm-hmm.
In Pathfinder, they have 3.
Hmm.
And that's 3 main stats. Now, the first stat all clerics need, hands down, wisdom. They are a wisdom caster. The more powerful your wisdom stat is, the more powerful your spells will be, and usually the more powerful your special abilities are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them. Second, in 5th Ed, is Con. Because you're going to need a lot of HP. Because any intelligent foe... Yeah, any intelligent foe is going to basically aim for you. And they are going to aim for you hard. And let's be brutally honest, that's a smart thing to do.
You're also the one running up to save the barbarian's dumbass.
Yeah, you're the one also trying to save the barbarian, you're the one trying to save the fighter, so on and so forth. So you're probably running into the thick of shit. So Con is usually a pretty high one you're going to need. In Pathfinder, you're also going to need Charisma.
Yes.
Some of your abilities are powered by Charisma.
Yes.
That is your turn Undead, your channel energies, things of that nature are Charisma based. In 5th Ed, you could argue Strength is a good third stat for clerics, and that's because of heavy armor.
You want to have enough strength that you're not hindered by your armor. If you're going to be doing frontline fighting in addition to healing, then yeah, obviously strength becomes a good bit more important. Usually your dump stats for a cleric are going to be dexterity and intelligence, unless you're playing a skill role, in which case you might need that intelligence, especially in Pathfinder. But yeah, dexterity is your least acquired stat, generally as a cleric.
Yeah, dexterity tends to be the dump stat. Tends to, not always, but...
Yeah, I mean, in 5th edition you don't need charisma either, but...
Yeah, not as much. And that's the stats. I mean, the stats aren't hard to describe for a cleric. You don't have a lot of going back and forth like you did with a bard for different builds and things of that nature. So, there is that. Then we have the fun thing when it comes to cleric, and that is domains. In 5th Ed, you only get one domain.
Mm-hmm.
Which is essentially becomes your subclass. And you get it at level 1. And this basically determines what flavor of cleric you essentially become.
Yes.
Alright? Arcana domain basically turns you into a pseudo wizard. Alright, you get a little bit of arcane magic. You can utilize that to, help out the wizard or sorcerer, whoever your arcane caster is.
I.e., what flavor of bullshit do you want?
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great, but I mean, shit, man. There's worse things to take up.
Good, so you're going to be bullshit. What is your flavor of
Death is a offensive cleric. Your goal is to do a lot of necrotic damage. You're all about the necrotics, and that's going to be fun to deal with. Forge. The best way to describe Forge is you're going to be like a tanky frontline cleric. Some people seem to think Forge clerics are all about crafting, but to be brutally honest, the way I've seen them always played, they are almost Iron Man-esque when it comes to combat. They're in it and they're just duking it out in the fight. Like, they do thinking, and they do fight thinking-wise. Like, they use their wisdom to help them fight better, but they're still in it. If you get my gist. They're a very heavy melee fighter.
Sure.
Grave clerics are amazing healers. And I know that sounds weird. I've had so many people ask me what do you mean grave clerics are amazing healers? They're not about damage healing, they're about damage mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with their ability to negate a critical hit. Because that's their big special ability. Is if the enemy gets a critical hit, you can point at the critical hit and go, no, that's a normal hit now. And that's really potent. That can really turn the tide of a battle.
It can, though I will say critical hits being considerably neutered from previous editions. It's a very nice ability. I assume they can do it as a reaction.
Yeah, they do it as a reaction.
Yeah. That is handy. It's like I said, criticals though aren't quite what they used to be. So you're probably going to be sparing somebody a D8 damage here, a D8 damage there.
Yeah.
D10 maybe.
It's more helpful at early levels than later.
Oh
levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they get that pretty much straight out the gate. It's their divine, it's their channel divinity, I think, from the get-go. I want to say.
Oh.
I want to say it's their second level. They get it at second level.
Pretty handy.
Sorry, 6th level. Second level, their channel divinity is... second level, whenever you pick an enemy within 30 feet of you, cursing it until the end of your next turn. Next time you or an ally of you hits the creature with an attack, it has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So you give it a fuck ton of extra damage. And then at first level, you also get the ability to detect undead, pretty much at will.
Nice.
Which you can do it at, technically it's a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, but it can last a long honkin' ass time. And
Does it refresh on a short rest or a long rest?
Long rest.
Okay.
And you get Spare the Dying as a cantrip for free.
Nice.
So, like, Grave Clerics are very potent because you get some damage output at 2nd level, and at 6th level, you're like, no crit. Which is helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get a little bit of everything, and that's helpful. It's definitely useful. Knowledge Domain's okay. I see it as useful, but honestly, I found Wizards and Bards to do it better, especially Lore Bards. Like, if you want to be a knowledge person, just play a Lore Bard. They're way better at it.
We are the best.
Yeah, it's just like so many people are like, oh no, it's like I want the cleric because I get all these cool lore abilities. I'm like, no, lore bard is better.
Yeah, now if you want to be someone who can do cleric magic and do a lot of what the lore bard can do, that's still a good valid mix. But if your focus is just, yeah, I want to be the group's guy who knows everything or knows something about everything,
Right.
then yeah, your lord bard is going to be the way to go.
Yeah. Life Domain is once again the iconic healer. Super helpful. I would highly recommend it. And so that's one I definitely recommend. If you just want to be straight up healer. Light Domain is if you want to just pump out the radiant damage.
So the group that I'm in, our cleric is a light domain cleric, and we don't have a wizard. So she's actually our fireball person.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just really handy to have that kind of mass effect damage. I think her channel divinity is also a damaging burst thing, which is just super useful.
Oh yeah.
She's basically our crowd control.
Oh yeah, you're gonna jack up so many things in mass. I've heard that thing nicknamed as sunburn.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's an accurate assessment. Nature Domain, if you're going to play a Nature Domain Cleric, unless you have a really good roleplay reason to play that, just play a Druid.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a mechanic reason to play Nature Cleric.
At that point, yeah, you might as well just be a Druid.
Yeah, because everything they do, Druid does essentially better. Order Domain is kind of neat. Thank you, Squidgy, for increasing my heart rate by a little. Order Domain Clerics are basically commanders. They're really good at basically, like, enchanting their allies and their foes to control the battlefield. They have exceptional battlefield control. And it is amazing what these guys are capable of doing. Like, I have straight up watched Order Domain Clerics just jack so many things up. It's just like, it is frightening. It's like, how is that, like, how do I put it? Have you seen, Code Geass?
In clips, I'm loosely familiar with the premise.
Alright. An Order Cleric is essentially Lelouch.
Uh-huh.
It like, you have that, like, just control of the battlefield. It is just wild what you're able to do with it.
Nice.
And it's just like, how am I able to pull this off while understanding so much shit? And it's just like, okay, I'll just go with it. And sometimes you just don't ask. You just accept. It's just like, dang, man. I in some cases, I never understood why some of the Order clerics I've seen in some of the games I've watched were able to pull off some of the shenanigans they did. It was just like, damn, dude. Oh, hey, Miss Cross. Actually, at work for another 1.5 hours, but if everybody will pop in when I can, I'll be listening. No problem. That's okay. That's A-okay. So, there is that. God, Peace Cleric. I have personal issues with the Peace Cleric. I've seen people use it to great effect. But to be brutally honest, I've never liked the idea of what some people have tried to do with this kind of character.
I'm not familiar. Can you elaborate
Pacifists.
on? Okay.
The pacifist character.
Ah.
It just... I'm sorry, you're in a D&D game. It does not work. Like... I understand some people are like, I want to play the pacifist and just help people. And I'm like, you're in a game where combat is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play a technical pacifist that is, fine using spells of like control but not attack, maybe if you're willing to say, well, I don't attack anybody first, I only attack someone in self-defense. That can work, but yeah, the pacifist thing, like I never hurt anybody or do anything hostile to anybody. That's not D&D. You need to go play some Animal Crossing. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah, go play something else. Just please, God. Because I've had players play the pacifist characters, and they did complete pacifists, and it just aggravated everyone else in the group.
You know exactly the one I'm thinking of.
It's like, please, dude, stop. God, end it. It's like, no, man, don't do this. I understand some people have that idea, and I get it that it's important, but it just does not fucking work. And I just, nah. The Peace Cleric, it just takes that to an extreme. Firestar JP just got back from Chill and Friends. Oh, hey, welcome back. How are you doing? I'm glad you're back, my friend. We were just talking about Peace Clerics. And my personal issue with them. So I would say, if you're going to play this, talk with your DM, talk with the other players to understand what you're getting into. Now, if you build this domain right, I will say this. You will be a very potent healer, you will be a very potent defender, and you can be a nearly unkillable healing defense monster.
Which, what that makes me want to do is to make an enemy Peace Cleric, like the bad guy is a Peace Cleric.
Oh yeah, you could do a total Peace Cleric, like where the cleric will not attack your party, and just drive everyone up the fucking wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, nah, you're about to have a fucking crazy day. And it's just like, god damn. It's just like, what the fuck happened to this guy to make him like this? It's just like, what the hell? And it's just, it's craziness. You can do, like, Peace Clerics are potent if they're built right. But RP-wise, they'll make you want to pull your fucking hair out.
Yeah, it's basically someone saying as a player, I don't care that I'm basically going against the way the rest of the party is likely to interact with the world. My, selfish act is going to interact in a completely incompatible way and force everybody to adapt to me. And that's just a bad, bad attitude to have in a party.
Oh yeah, and it drives me up a wall. It's just it was just like, why? Why would you do this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's up there with grim loner in terms of red flag words for people to describe their character, but pacifist is pretty high up on the list.
Yeah, it's not the worst character concept I've ever run into, but it is definitely up there for me.
I've never seen it executed well as a player character.
I've seen it executed well once.
Hmm.
And that was because the person played a sorcerer, and they played a what's the word I'm looking for? God damn, I'm trying to remember the words. A diplomatic sorcerer.
Okay.
And they were able to help talk the way through every issue, but not take it away completely from the party. Which also, it didn't hurt that Mr. White was also in the game.
Uh-huh.
And he was playing the bad guy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, his name is Mr. Bowman now. I forgot.
Yes.
His name changed. And I need to remember this. I'm very bad about that. And I apologize. Like, guy's married, and it's awesome, and I'm super happy. But I was like, shit, his name changed, and I'm bad with names.
Yep.
I'm sure he forgives me.
Yeah, he's pretty chill.
Yeah. The only way he'd ever get more chill is if he smoked weed, and I'm fairly certain he does. If it was legal. Oh. Oh my god. But yeah, no, Mr. Bowman was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the game where he played the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, did no one see that coming. Like, nobody. Cyber Cody, how's it going, bro? It's going all right. We're chilling out. We're talking about D&D, and we're educating people on clerics. We just covered Peace Cleric, so we're about to go into the next cleric, and that is Tempest Cleric. Tempest Cleric. Everybody knows a good example of Tempest Cleric, especially if you're a comic book fan. Thor.
Yeah.
He's straight up a Tempest Cleric. No questions.
Yeah, just the ability to toss around, lightning damage. Nice, flashy combat cleric.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is straight up a Tempest Cleric. Especially a combat one. He is very good at it. And he's also very lawful about it. If not lawful, neutral good.
In what way?
Well, Thor in Marvel, at least from what I've read so far. Now, mind you, I am not a Marvel expert, so please forgive me. He always comes across to me as neutral good or lawful good. personality-wise. But you are more of the comic expertise there.
I would say it depends on the era. And of course, the D&D alignment system is a little quirky. But early Thor is a little more chaotic. He's yes, he is concerned about a certain degree of warrior honor, but he's willing to go out and party and drink and carouse. He likes getting into fights for fighting's sake. So I would say that over time he is tempered towards neutral good. But yeah, I've never really read him as lawful good. So again, he does have like the warrior code of honor, but that's really the closest he gets there. And then once later on they introduced Hercules as kind of his rival, it was very clear like, oh, Thor is the responsible one. Oh shit. Because yeah, Hercules will drink Thor under the table and then go sleep with everybody in sight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Hercules is very much a chaotic good. And yeah, by comparison, Thor's like, oh, wow, I guess he is the grown-up here.
Oh my god, that's messed up.
And then, of course, more recent writing where he's periodically had to take over for Odin in the comics that has made him more responsible in ways because he just had more burdens to shoulder. So yeah, it varies. I would say neutral good's a pretty good read on him.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to at least know that I got a decent read on him.
Is that Cyber Coyote?
Yeah.
How's it going, bro?
Yeah. I let him know that I was like, yeah, it's going fine. Everything's going well. Alright, so I want to put that there.
Yeah, I really dig Thor as a comic character, but I have to say that Hercules is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Just the way they write him is hysterical. He's very powerful, and I'm very glad that it seems like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going in that direction. Like, we might actually get some meaningful use of Hercules. Because, vague light spoilers for the most recent Thor movie, they actually introduced the concept of other pantheons.
Oh.
And we explicitly get, like, Zeus and shit. And, yeah, that's as far as I will go. Don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but, yeah, very nice to see.
Come on, let me... I hate the monorail system in this game. They always make it like a pain to do.
Is there a chance the track could bend?
What was that?
I said, is there a chance the track could bend?
Yeah.
Simpsons reference.
I'm going to hop out of here. Have a good stream. Thank you, Firestar. You have a great day, too. Oh, damn it, Squidgy, for the goddamn fireball. He keeps fireballing my tavern.
Just calling back to that Simpsons monorail episode, one of the all-time classics.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I want to put this one here.
Okay, this is amazing. A Baryonyx. These animals have very large claws on their first digit. This dinosaur also likes water, so take a moment to consider its needs when planning out a suitable habitat for it. The Baryonyx was originally thought to be a scavenger, but now, with live animals to study, we can find out for sure.
Oh, goddammit. This is gonna be a problem. Hey, Blue Nerd, how's it going, man? Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Okay. This very slowly. There we go. Alright. Now we gotta get the other side. Alright. So there is that. That's Tempest, though. Trickery is the one that a lot of people know because of Critical Role. And that is, God, what's her name? Jester. Is her name.
Oh.
And that's played by, God, what's her name?
Is that Laura Bailey's character?
Yeah, it's Laura Bailey's character.
I'm not actually a watcher of Critical Role, so I only know bits and bobs.
Yeah, that is Laura Bailey's character. And that is who she plays in the second season of Critical Role. And she does a great job, don't get me wrong. She does a
Do you see any resemblance between the Nasutoceratops and modern-day cattle?
Yeah, you better not talk
Look
shit
closely
about
at the
Critical
horns
Role, because
and their
you're
relation
going to
to
get
the
yourself
eyes.
cut.
Yeah, apparently.
It's clear to me that as we bring
yeah,
these
Laura Bailey. I
animals
watched
back to
Critical Role, but
life,
not live. Yeah, I
the
never watched
connections
it live.
between the past and the present sharpen. And along with it, our understanding.
When it comes to actual plays, I'm usually more
This
of
is
a
what
Glass
my
Cannon
science is all
Network or
about.
Dimension 20.
Yeah. Roaming the building. Alright. Oh, one of my buildings got sabotaged. Oh well. It's okay. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, that's Trickery Domain. And they're kind of, the best way to describe them is they're kind of roguelite.
Mm-hmm.
And they're decent at it. I wouldn't call them exceptional.
Sure.
Because once again, we're talking about clerics that are, how do I put this? They are okay at their job, but they are not the best at it.
Sure.
And a cleric can fill the role of any class, but they're never going to do it as well as the class itself. Alright? And
nor should they.
Yeah, and nor should they. Like, don't ever expect your cleric to do the job of the class unless you don't have that class there.
Right.
And that's okay. But also at the same time, be expecting, that you can always pick up a role or two if you need to. Brennan actually just DM'd a 4-partner prologue for the whole world of Exandria recently, but I get people liking D20 over other shows. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. Haha. Hi, Ein. Welcome. Hey, it's okay, man. I always appreciate whenever you show up.
Yeah, as Blur Nerd is alluding, Brendan Lee Mulligan is basically one of the most fantastic improvisers I've ever seen. And as a GM, he's also incredible. I saw that he had done a prologue series for Critical Role, and I may indeed check that out, but have not done so yet.
From what I've seen of Brandon's stuff, I like what he's done. But I did see one clip that was slightly concerning, where it was like, it seemed like he was forcing the scene.
That doesn't sound like him.
I know.
I'd have to see some context.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the scene later. Like, it was like the guy was being grabbed by the villain, and apparently like the head was getting crushed or something.
Oh, okay. You're talking from the Exandria stuff?
I think it was Exandria stuff. And the guy tried to escape or something, and Brandon just said, "It just happens." And no rolls were made or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, that seems off, but I mean, he's the DM, he has the right to do that, and there must be something going on that I don't know about, so... And
Could be a dream sequence.
No, the guy's character was dead.
Well, I mean, it could still be some kind of psychic battlefield where he just did not have a defense. There's a lot of reasons that could happen.
Oh yeah,
But,
it's just like I didn't have the full context. That's why I it worried me a little bit, but I was like at the same time like I don't know what's going on, so I'm not labeling this as a fully problematic situation. If that makes sense.
sure.
It's more along the lines of I'm gonna put this in my folder of look into this later as a possible problematic situation that I want to research into. If I ever look into it. The four-parter was supposed to end with the apocalypse. Okay, so it was supposed to end with everyone dying. Okay.
Right, and that was the other thing I was going to say is that you're doing a prequel. You know how part of it's going to end. So there may be limited autonomy there at the end.
The park's going okay, Jitchit. I'm just kind of playing this in the background to give everybody a nice visual look, something to watch while we're talking about D&D stuff. Because I always try to visually entertain people while we're talking as well. Because I'm doing the challenge stuff. Oh, Baryonyx. I need to capture that. Because that is no bueno. Alright, where is my helicopter? So, with that being said, though, Cricetosaurus. So the next thing we were going to bring up was the next thing we talked about Trickery is Twilight domain.
I don't know this one.
I don't know this one either, and that's the problem. The flavor text on it is use the mystical power of Twilight to empower and defend both yourself and your allies to overcome any challenge. And I'm like, that's not overly helpful. So it's like, no, why is that a thing? Okay, not helpful. Thanks. It's just like, thanks. That's super helpful. Let's see if I can't find any more information on that. Twilight domain cleric. See if we can't find any more information on this. Alright. So you get Fairy Fire and Sleep as first level spells. Moonbeam and See Invisibility is third. Aura Vitality, Lehman's Tiny Hut is fifth. Aura Life and Greater Invisibility is seventh. Ninth level Circle Power and Mislead. So, Eyes of the Night, you get Dark Vision, range 300 feet. At first level, other first level, you can give someone advantage on initiatives. Channel Divinity at second level is... Sphere of Twilight emanates from your sphere, centered on you as a 30-foot raise. Dim Light, the sphere moves with you, lasts for 1 minute. Grant temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your cleric level. You end one effect on it, causing it to be charmed or frightened.
It's an interesting grab bag.
Yeah. At 6th level, you draw upon the Mystic Power of Night Air. Bonus action. In dim light or darkness, you can magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for 1 minute. You can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain it after a long rest.
Okay.
At 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapon with divine energy. On each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause it to do 1d8 radiant damage. When you hit 14th level, it increases 2d8. At 17th level, you grant you and your allies half cover whenever you're using your Twilight Sanctuary ability that you get at 2nd level. It seems okay. I've never seen anyone play it.
Is that one of the newer ones?
Let me see. Where... Oh, God damn it. That's not the page I wanted. Where did it come from? Yeah, trying to find out where it came from. Doesn't say. Twilight deities. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Okay, so it's
newer-ish.
Yeah, basically.
I would not label that as a particularly good one.
I mean, it's like a buff class.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of iffy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I would say it's got some definite issues. A lot of its abilities are sporadic at best.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you have other domains that do what it does better.
I mean, that's probably fair.
Like, if I was going to say that, it just seems, at least that's what it seems like to me. It just feels that way to me. And it's like, yeah, this seems a little weird. I don't know. And the last one is, of course, War Domain. And the best way to describe War Domain is, do you like hitting things? Well, congratulations, we have a religion for that.
Yeah.
Pray to the faithful by basically beating the shit out of it. Or, technically, well, some of the faithful want to be beaten the shit out of, and other of the faithful, well, don't beat the shit out of them. You beat the shit out of the heretics. So, whatever, heresy or, the faithful, your choice.
As long as you're beating somebody.
Yep, beating somebody up, you're gonna be good. It's like, damn, man. Oh, jeez. And that is War Clerics. We talked about Channel Divinity a little bit. You could always get Turn Undead. Every cleric gets it, or you get a special power from your domain. Some domains are better than others. Later on, you get Destroy Undead, but that's kind of weak sauce in some cases. Because in 5th Ed, in order to use Destroy Undead, they have to be significantly weaker than you. And the chances of that happening are not great.
I mean, I guess you still do have, because of the flattened curve of ability in 5th edition, if you have a horde of zombies, it can pose a legitimate threat to you, even if you're higher level. So being able to just kind of destroy a swath of them could be useful, but it's situational.
Yeah. Though I will say that the one thing in 5th that's kind of neat is Divine Intervention. And it's kind of a neat trick. Which is, you get this until, like, 20th level, or, well, you get it earlier, I think. But it doesn't really come online until much later. Let me make sure. Divine Intervention, 5th Ed. I want to make sure when it kicks on. Okay, Divine Intervention kicks on at 10th level. Of course, they want me to look up in the book, which is not helpful because I just want the information. Preserve Life, Blessed Healer. Where's Divine Intervention? There it is. Beginning at 10th level, you call upon your deity to intervene in your behalf when your need is great. Imploring on your deity's aid requires the use of your action. Describe your assistance, roll percentile dice. If your roll is equal to or lower than your cleric level, your deity intervenes. So at 10th level, you need a 10 or lower.
I mean, 10% chance of your divine daddy showing up to fix your mess. That's not bad.
Yep. And then if they do decide to show up, then they write essentially a holy restraining order against you for 7 days. Because you just pissed yourself seeing, your holy, your holy senpai, because senpai noticed you.
They holy ghost you.
Senpai noticed you, so your senpai basically freaks the fuck out for 7 days and goes, nope, fuck this. Oh no. Yeah, that's how divine intervention works. So that is 5th Ed Cleric. Now, as much as 5th Ed Cleric gets that cool ability and gets some cool stuff to it, I would argue, and I've had some people argue this with me, that Pathfinder Cleric and 3.5 Cleric is way more powerful than 5th Ed Cleric.
Huh.
And there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
In 5th Ed, you get you get your one domain, and that one domain has 3, maybe 4 powers. Okay.
Sure.
The powers, for the most part, the first 2 tend to be fairly weak sauce. Usually, because you get them at level 1. All right, they tend to be pretty on the weak level, and then the next 2 to 3 tend to be decent or potent. Thank you, Daryl, for the check-in. Hey, mate, how are you doing today? I'm doing fine, my friend. Hope you're doing good as well. And then the last one tends to be pretty potent. Pathfinder, on the other hand, gives you 2 domains. Each domain gives you 2 powers. One power tends to be decent or weak, and then the other one tends to be decent or powerful, depending on which one you pick. Then on top of that, like I said, you get 2 of them, which means you have 2 domain lists to choose spells from. Unlike 5e, which only gives you 1 domain list to choose from, even though it gives you 2 spells,
yes,
it doesn't give you a wide array to go with.
Yeah, I mean, domains in the Pathfinder era could definitely be used to patch weaknesses in the cleric spell list, which was fantastic.
Not to mention, Pathfinder has subdomains, which honestly 5e doesn't. And this is where we get into the kooky, oh my god bullshit. Okay? Like, holy sweet Jeebus, we are going to... Let me see. Because they had to make a whole different page for domains for Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Where in 5e, they're like, oh, here's all the domains. It's on the cleric page. In Pathfinder, they're like, no, there are so many fucking domains and subdomains that we had to put it on another page. Because it won't fit on the fucking webpage. It's like, please, piss off.
And then, of course, part of that is the maturity of the Pathfinder system in the sense that it was around for a lot longer, and they produced a lot more material for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was like, god damn. Can I put the Nasuto tops in here? That is a no. I have to give them their own pen. Of course. Everybody has to be special. Okay. So with that being said, let's talk about the Pathfinder domains. All right. 1, we have the air domain. All right. Air domain is pretty much, hi, I'm gonna do all kinds of air powery shit, whether it's wind or lightning or whatever. Okay. It's not super exciting, but you can do some decent options, especially if you want to do electric damage. And the spells list is not terrible. It's got some good options. It's got some shitty options. It's a mixed bag. I'd call it okay. You do get a permanent resistance to electricity. It's not a lot, but it's some. So I wouldn't label it as terrible. The only thing I'd say the only thing bad about the air domain is Elemental Body 4. I don't call that spell really particularly useful.
Fair enough.
At least not for a cleric.
Sure.
But you do get some cool stuff. Like, you get Control Winds and Whirlwind, which are fucking devastating. And Wind Wall. Like, if you're dealing with a wall of archers, you're just like, no.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You do get 2 subdomains, which are Cloud and Wind. The Cloud subdomain is decent. You lose the electricity resistance, but in return you get Thundercloud, which is guaranteed electrical damage to your foes. And it blocks line of sight. And in return for your level 9 spell, which you lose Elemental Swarm, you get Storm of Vengeance. It's like, they're both difficult spells to pull off, but they're both can be fun. Wind subdomain, you can kind of ignore that. It's not great. Animal domain. You're pretty much doing a cleric shit with animals.
Sure. Yeah.
But it does come with a feather subdomain, and the feather subdomain has 2 spells that are friggin' amazing. And one of their powers is kind of neat. You lose the Speak with Animals ability that the animal domain gives you, but in return, you get a perception ability. I forget what it's called. Let me double check what feather subdomain does exactly. You gain a racial bonus on perception checks equal to half your cleric level. And if you act during the surprise round, you get a +2 on your initiative check.
Nice.
Which is damn helpful. But the big things why I would ever consider the feather domain, you get fly.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And then at 6th level, as a domain spell, mass fly.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the whole party into flying monkeys. It's like, congratulations. It's like, I'm going to make the big raging barbarian suddenly fly. Fur domain's okay. I wouldn't call it great. The Artifice domain can be fun if you use it correctly. But it's difficult to pull off. I feel like you probably would agree with that.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it in action, so I'm not sure what the difficulties are.
It has a lot of spells that aren't great in combat.
But it's for out of combat, like prep type stuff.
Yeah. It basically turns you into almost an artificer.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing I've ever seen it used for, we had an artifice. I wonder if Forge is still on here. Is there darkness, lost, death, destruction, earth, evil, fire, ash, glory, EF. Yeah, it would be before glory. Yeah, I could have sworn there was a Forge domain. No, there isn't. So, my earbud died. Oh no. Miss Cross lost her earbud. That sucks. The Artifice domain, what you do is you combine it with a wizard. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You take a couple levels of Wizard, you take a couple levels of Cleric, Artifice Domain. And then you take Mystic Theurge.
Sure.
And you make what's called the perfect craftsman. And you would have access to almost every spell in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a crafter who's capable of building almost anything.
I see.
And that's why you take the Artifice Domain, because then you have minor creation, major creation. You have wood and stone shape easily. And you also have Fabricate as well.
Yep.
And those are all really good spells for crafting items.
And as a wizard and cleric, you meet the spell prerequisites for magic item creation for just about everything, unless it's a druid exclusive or something.
Yeah, and in which case you got just take ranks and use magic device for that point.
Yeah.
And you cover that. Congratulations. And it works out beautifully, and you'll still get level 9 spells.
Yep.
Because you'll hit the equivalent caster of 17 in both.
Yep.
You won't have many level 9 spells, but you won't need many. You'll just need one for just the crafting. So there is that. There is the Chaos Domain. The alignment domains I've never seen work well.
The alignment domains are basically there as filler. And honestly, as Pathfinder matured, I think they fell out of favor. But when the game started out, it's like, well, we've got this evil god of whatever. His whatever part, we don't have a domain that matches, but he's evil. We can give him the evil domain. So yeah, they were kind of like defaults, and I understand why they're there, but yeah, they're not real interesting. Now, I guess if you're in like an anti-demon type campaign, the good domain has a lot of oomph there, but you know it's kind of dependent on the campaign that you're running.
Yeah, I don't know. I never cared for the alignment domains. I never saw a need for them.
Well, I mean, most of the spells that you get from the alignment domains you can get as a cleric anyway. I don't think any of them are like, wizard spells that get ported in for you. So yeah, they're not super strong.
Yeah.
Though I forget what the domain ability for like the good domain is. Pathfinder good domain. Granted powers, touch of good, touch a creature, granting it bonus equal to half your cleric level on a bunch of rolls for 1 round. It's not bad. Holy Lance at 8th level, you give a weapon you touch the holy special weapon quality for a number of rounds equal to half your cleric level. Again, not bad.
All right, not a problem, Miss Cross. You have a great night. Just catch us back next time. Hopefully your earbud and your phone work out better next time. Her phone's about to die.
Mm-hmm.
So
you do get Summon Monster 9 at 9th level, which is, I guess, 1 wizard spell imported. So yeah, even the good domain in a demon focus game, you could definitely do better.
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like you could do better. It never struck me as like a particularly potent. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a domain choice.
Yeah. It's suboptimal.
Yeah, and I hate using that term, but it's the best term, honestly. It's like, come on, it's like, suboptimal is one way of putting it, but it also feels, I don't know. I feel like almost foolish for taking it.
It's not that bad. It's not so bad that you're worse off for taking it. There are just a lot of better options.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's, oh my god, you moron, you took the good domain? What's wrong with you? No, I think it's fine. But it's like unbuttered toast. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's definitely a domain. You definitely had breakfast. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was just like, It's like, that just seems weird.
It's it's fine. And then of course, the evil domain, generally speaking, player characters are not going to be using. I guess you could have an evil campaign, but it's just not going to come up that often. Let me look at the other ones. And of course, they have a bunch of subdomains, but I don't know the subdomains for those very well.
Yeah, Chaos has Protean and Charm. And Charm's decent. Or no, wait, I think it just said Protean, isn't it? Yeah, no, Charm has... No, Charm is its own domain. So we have the Charm domain.
The subdomains for Chaos are Azada, Demodan, Demon, Entropy, Protean, Revelry, Riot, and Whimsy, according to D20 PFSRD.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are fine, but we don't want to get into every single subdomain.
No, I'm looking at the big main ones. Then there's the Charm domain with the Love and Slust domain, which if you're going to play a manipulative character, those aren't bad. And being a Cleric is not a terrible idea to do that. For one simple reason. No one expects the Cleric to do that.
Well, there's that. You're also going to have a good built-in charisma if you've built your character right, because it's one of your dependent ability scores.
And you also have a good saves, because you'll have a good wisdom.
So yeah, you're good at resisting the same stuff.
Well, I was also going to say your wisdom...
the difficulty of the saves that you impose. That works too. But you're always going to have a good wisdom, so that's true of all the Cleric domains. You've got a good wisdom, therefore your save DCs are high. But yeah, the Charm domain gives you a number of things that are normally exclusively, arcane spells, so that's handy.
Oh yeah.
That's the main thing I look for in a domain spell list. Like, what does this get me
that I normally don't get?
Right.
And are the powers okay?
Right. Yeah, Charm domain, having access to Charm Person, Charm Monster, Suggestion. Yeah, this is good stuff.
I like the Lust domain better.
Let's see.
You get touch of idiocy and confusion in return for calm emotions and heroism.
Yeah, that's a good swap.
I feel like that's a great swap. Because you can walk up to an enemy caster and go, "Fuck you!" And, there's not much the caster's going to be able to do to stop you at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for the community domain.
I kinda do, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The calming touch power is not great. It can remove fatigue from your barbarian ally. Not bad. But Unity is actually really cool. The 8th level ability, if someone tries to mass charm your party, you can let your entire party use your wisdom save, which is going to be amazing. So,
The
yeah,
genes we've
it
been
can
able
be
to
very
unlock form the
situationally
very
good against like
foundation.
party mind control effects.
Mm.
The other thing is that, yes, the domain spells are mostly stuff you would get anyway, but telepathic bond, a really nice pickup from the wizard list.
That's true. I could see that.
So it's not like it's not a trash domain. It's not top tier. But if you're building a certain kind of cleric, like I'm going to be the guy that has really good saving throws, and I'll use this Unity ability starting at 8th level to make sure that you guys have amazing saves,
It's
at least against certain
paleogenetics.
things.
We need as
And
much
that
of this
way,
current
you
one as
like
possible.
Dragon's Breath.
Don't
That
report back
you
until
know,
you've been successful.
yeah, your reflex save is probably not the best, but if it's like some kind of poison gas from like a green dragon, if you had to do like a con save, you might have a pretty good con save. And it allows each ally to choose whether or not to like, okay, I'll use his save.
Right.
Or, yeah, that's nice.
I could see that being helpful. Yeah.
It's kind of unique. It's a unique buff, and I do like that. So yeah, not a total oh my god that's an awesome domain, but it's not like a alignment domain either.
Yeah, I could see that being useful then. Yeah. I never saw it used well, personally.
Heading to pick up the asset.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, and
Asset collection request received.
it's not something that I've seen people play a lot, but that Unity ability has always stood out to me as just a really nice one.
Yeah. The darkness domain. I've seen this used to friggin' devastating effect, but not on the player side.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've seen DMs wreck parties with the Shadow Conjuration ability.
Yeah. All the Shadow Conjuration, Shadow Evocation abilities are fantastic, and you get both. You get, just some really nice wizard spells on this list. And Eyes of Darkness, it's only a few rounds per day, but being able to see in absolute and magical darkness, that's really cool.
Oh yeah. Especially when you get the ability to drop darkness.
Mm-hmm.
You drop that puppy on the ground, use your Eyes of Darkness ability, and then you just burn people. You make their lives miserable. And it just, bad things happen. It's just like, god damn.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's like, what are they going to do?
Delivery has been completed.
It's like, shit.
Yeah, this total domination of the battlefield at that point.
Yeah.
At least briefly.
I would say the death domain I have not seen utilized well, personally.
It's not one that gets you a lot of stuff. That's like in terms of spells. It's nice and thematic, but yeah, basically the Death's Embrace allowing you to heal damage from channeled negative energy. I guess if you're going to be in the midst of your own undead horde, you can channel negative energy and heal yourself. So, cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's nice. Not.
I mean, it's extremely situational and probably only being used by villains.
Yeah. And that's if you're really just lucky. Like, you have to, like, work your ass off to set that up. It's like, why? Why would I do this?
And, a villain with an undead horde makes sense, and you could set that up as the GM, and, that'll work. But, yeah, your player, it's just situational for player.
Yeah, it's just like, oh boy. It works for sometimes a necromancer, but there's a subdomain that works better, which is undead, as well as murder.
Yeah.
And those work better.
Yeah.
I just look at that and I'm like, why would I choose this when I can just choose this?
Well, and I think the problem there is basically just one of them is the domain they came up with for the base book, and the other domains after a couple of years of power creep and adjustment. So
yeah, I get. I that's one way to put it. I think is honestly probably what it is. Let's see what's the next one. Destruction domain.
I'm a fan. Again, it's got some weird ass abilities. The destructive smite's okay. The destructive aura can be just absolutely crippling, especially if you synergize with some party members. 30-foot aura of destruction. All attacks made against targets in this aura gain a morale bonus on damage equal to half your cleric level, and all critical threats are automatically confirmed. You have a fighter in your party that's doing like improved critical scimitars and just absolutely destroy some things. And then the domain spells get you True Strike. I think Shatter's Wizard exclusive. Forget about Rage. You get Shout. You get Disintegrate. There's just some fantastic wizard spells in there to blow shit up.
Yeah, the problem I have with it is the abilities aren't potent. I kind of like its subdomains a little better.
Okay.
Like the Catastrophe subdomain. Unfortunately, you lose Shatter. You get Gust of Wind, which is like, not great.
Yeah.
You lose Rage, but you get Call Lightning instead.
Call Lightning's good.
The big one I don't like you lose is Disintegrate, though. But you get Control Weather. But the ability is you get Deadly Weather. Which, you unleash a furious call to the heavens, summoning forth an ever-changing storm of destruction for a number of rounds equal to your cleric level. Storm has a radius of 5 feet per level each round, has the following effects: -4 on perceptions and range attack rolls, -8 on range fly checks and range attack rolls. Heavy snow. All terrain is considered difficult. You can choose one of these, in fact, by the way. Or Lightning Bolt, Call Lightning. All other effects of the weather also might apply. You choose which effect takes place each round, but no effect may be repeated on the following round. These rounds do not need to be consecutive. It's like, it's a neat little weather thing, but it's like, the only thing I like about the Destruction domain is definitely the Disintegrate.
Disintegrate is an amazing spell.
Yeah, that is really good, and it's just like, damn. It's hard to say no to Disintegrate. It's just like, dang, dude. So it's definitely a good spell. The only thing is, it's the only thing you get. Other than Implosion, but Implosion's already on the cleric list.
Yeah.
Same thing with Earthquake. A lot of the good spells on here are already on the Cleric list.
But Disintegrate.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, yeah, so you get Disintegrate. I feel like, honestly, investing in Scrolls of Disintegrate would be better. That's the only thing.
That gets expensive.
That's true. Then we got the Earth Domain.
Acid Resistance is not bad.
Acid Resistance is not bad. Acid Dart's not bad. But a lot of the spells aren't particularly stellar.
No. Let's see. You get Wall of Stone and Stone Skin, which are both pretty cool.
Yeah, but other than that, it's meh.
I mean, Stone Skin is one of the best defensive arcane spells in the game, so...
Yeah. I would... like I said, Wall of Stone and Stone Skin are good, but, like, everything else is kind of almost shrugging. Like, I have a hard time justifying it for just one spell. I've always had a hard time justifying a domain for just one spell.
Well, 2 spells in this case.
Oh yeah, and 2 spells. For me, I always try to at least go for 3, at least 1 or 2 good spells, and like a third, this is okay. At least in my mind. At least have some versatility, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know that I'm that different, but I'm usually content with 2 really good spells as long as they're within the first 6 levels. Because, you don't know a campaign's going to get up to 7th level spells.
That's true.
The Erosion Domain looks like a combination of Earth and Destruction.
That's weird, but entertaining.
I mean, that is kind of what Erosion is, so I'm liking the theming there, but yeah, it just doesn't really feel like it has its own distinct identity.
Yeah, which is like, guys, why are you doing this?
And here I thought all the alphas were dinosaurs. And me. But you are proving me wrong. And
yeah,
don't do that, by the way. But what I'm trying to say is you're an alpha too. Respect.
Let's see. Then we got the Evil Domain, which I feel like they added that because they wanted evil deities.
Well, like I said, they needed filler domains for deities that they didn't have other good strong picks. Because basically, for every deity, you needed to have at least 2 domains, because the clerics of that deity can pick 2 domains.
Yeah.
So, they needed some filler. Fire Domain, I think, is at least interesting.
Yeah.
Having Burning Hands and Fireball and Wall of Fire and Fire Shield.
Oh, yeah. It's really hard to pass up the Fire Domain, but there is in my opinion, a slightly better version of the Fire Domain.
Which one?
Ash.
Okay.
Remember that spell from Destruction that you really, really liked?
Yeah.
Ash gets it.
Yeah.
And it has better spells overall.
I mean, it only replaces 2 spells.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in general, it has better spells than Destruction.
Oh, I thought you meant than fire. I was comparing Ash to fire.
No, I'm talking about fire in general to Destruction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then... Yeah, the Fire Domain granted fire resistance power is fantastic.
The Fire Bolt is still useful.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get Fireball.
Yeah.
And you replace Elemental Swarm with Fiery Body, which is still a fantastic buff because it's like, congratulations, I'm immune to fire now. Let's go. And like, Anne played it in an online game. She played a cleric with the Ash domain. She was Ash in one of the strength subdomains. And man, she was going to town with people. Because that wall of ashes It is brutal for control.
Hmm.
Like, you can seriously control the battlefield with that.
I guess if I were in a mass combat focused game, I might pick Ash over the default fire. That fire resistance is pretty tasty.
Yeah, the fire resistance is pretty tasty. Don't get me wrong. It's just that getting Disintegrate is just too damn good to pass up. On top of everything else you get. Because you're getting rid of Elemental Body 4 to get Disintegrate.
Sure.
And that is just like, congratulations, I'm getting rid of a shitty spell for a pretty damn good spell. It's like, shit, man. And there are other ways to get fire resist. So, there is that. I would, honestly, if you're looking for a damage wizard... not damage wizard, sorry, damage cleric. Like, if you're going to go spell damage cleric, I'd highly recommend Ash.
Sure.
Glory Domain. Glory Domain is pretty much almost making you pseudo-paladin.
Yeah, I don't like Glory Domain much.
Yeah, if you're going to play this, play a paladin. And its subdomains are also paladin. It's just different flavor of paladin.
Yeah, basically I think the only thing you're picking up is Blessed Weapon from the paladin list from the spells. So yeah, not impressed.
Yeah, it's just like, at this point, pass. Just don't bother. You're gonna do fine without it.
Then we've got Good, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Healing Domain, which
boy. I would not recommend the Healing Domain in Pathfinder.
So, here's the thing is, how does improvised casting work? Is it...
You give up a spell.
And you can cast a healing spell specifically, right?
If you're good. If you're neutral, you choose either inflict or healing.
Yeah.
God damn it. You choose inflict or healing, and if you're evil, you choose
Subsides. Urgent sabotage warning.
You get inflict.
Dinosaur sickness. Medical units are needed.
Here's the thing about the Healing Domain. It is one of the very few that gives you 0 spells from other lists, I think, that I actually might take. And it is solely for the ability Healer's Blessing.
Okay, I will say Healer's Blessing is potent. I will give you that. It is a devastatingly potent ability.
Yep.
Let me double check what how potent it is off the top of my head.
Starting at 6th level, yeah, it gives you empowered on all of your cure spells.
So 50% more. That is good. That is pretty good. I will say that. Is it worth a whole domain?
If you only got one domain pick, I wouldn't take it. But you do get 2.
Yes, you do get 2. Would I say it's worth it? That is debatable for me. My argument would be it depends on the campaign and your party composition. If you are that hard up for a healer, yeah, you could do it. Though I dare say there's other things that could do it probably better.
I mean, basically the life oracle is the best healer in Pathfinder, but a cleric with the healing domain is second best.
Yeah, I'd say that, and that's pushing it. And the subdomains for healing are garbage, straight up, because you're losing healer's blessing, which is really bad.
Wow. Yeah,
and that's the only reason why you would take that. Knowledge domain. Once again, if you're taking knowledge domain as a cleric, you might as well play a bard.
Oh, actually, the restoration subdomain for healing does not replace the empower power.
Oh,
it replaces the lesser one.
Oh, the rebuke death. Okay, you get restorative touch. Yeah, but it only gets rid of like the weak conditions.
It's true. Yeah. But it could be more situationally useful than the heal just a tiny amount for only your party members who are below 0.
Yeah, I would say that's restoration might be better than just based healing. But you lose cure moderate wounds, you lose cure critical wounds, and you lose breath of life.
Yeah.
And breath of life is honestly the spell you need.
Yeah.
That's probably the only reason why you should be taking that. It is because that is a freaking ability godsend.
Knowledge domain. All knowledge skills are class skills. Lore keeper ability. Touch a monster to essentially gain information on it, which is really cool.
It seems like a cool ability, and normally I would agree, especially if you were playing like a Witcher-like game.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's really a neat ability, but there are other classes that kind of do it better.
Yeah, and you don't really have that many skill points to throw around to take advantage of that.
We're on knowledge domain. We got past Ash. I already talked about your cleric.
I know. I loved abusing that so much because you didn't read that very carefully until I used it the first time. And then you went, shit, it does work like that.
Yeah, it fucked up people so bad.
Because it's actually ash, which means you can't breathe in it very well.
Hey, casual cardboard. Hi. I don't know why it does that. That's really weird.
Because you keep pushing the stupid bin that has your DVDs back into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, it was like, oh, you can't breathe well now. Shink, I have a defense and you can't see me.
Yeah. But yeah, knowledge, if you're going to play a knowledge character, I would... play a bard or something. Though...
Yeah.
The cool one, I would say, though, if you go for the memory subdomain, that could be kind of neat.
Okay.
Because you can mess with people's memories.
Sure.
And that's kind of neat to do.
It is.
So there's that. Law domain's one of the alignment ones, so there's that. Liberation is different. I'd say that's situational. It depends on your campaign.
I like the granted powers. Being able to invoke essentially freedom of movement. That's incredible.
Yeah, the freedom of movement's cool. And then also freedom's call, giving your entire party that is awesome as hell.
Yep. The spell list is mostly stuff you get anyway.
Yeah. The only one I'd say is really neat is the Mind Blank ability.
Mind Blank is a good pickup from Wizard list, yeah.
What?
I have one demand for a game we play one day.
What?
I demand a party of just clerics. I want to see the shenanigans we get into.
One day.
I want a party of just all clerics just to see the fuckery we cause.
Alright. One of the ones I've always wanted to try domain-wise, and I never got around to trying, the luck domain.
Yes.
Like, so many people underestimate it, and I don't get it. Like, I've heard so many people shit on this domain in Pathfinder. Like, especially on the forums. They're like, oh, it's just some free rerolls. It's not that great. I'm like, dude, it's free fucking rerolls.
Yeah.
Do you not understand how potent that fucking is?
Yeah.
Not to mention you get freedom of movement, breaking enchantments, telling people, hey, I'm not here, I'm over there. With mislead, spell turning, which is, you never get that as a cleric.
Moment of Prescience is another unique wizard one. True Strike, is a great first level wizard spell.
Oh my god.
That you could probably use better than the wizard because you're a cleric and actually can stand in a fight.
Yeah, not to mention you could stand right next to the melee character and, not get hit and be like, hey, here you go, fuck him up.
Yeah. I like the luck domain in terms of theme and abilities.
It drives me up a wall when so many people are like, this is a shitty domain. I'm like, fuck you, it's great. It drives me up a wall when people say it's not good. No, it's great. But it does, I will say the curse domain is not good. But subdomain. But the fate subdomain could be also kind of cool. You lose the rerolls, but you get some other cool, neat abilities. You lose aid, but you get augury. You lose protection from energy, but you get borrow fortune, which is kind of neat. And then you get this ability called Tugging Strands. And at 8th level, you can force a creature within line of sight to re-roll one roll that it just made before the result is revealed. The result of the re-roll must be taken even if it's worse than the original roll. You can use this ability once per day at 8th level, and one additional time for every 6 levels above 8th. Alright? Now, the reason why I kind of like the Fate domain a little bit more than the Luck one, the Luck ability only works on you. The Tugging Strands, you can use it on other people.
Sure.
Including your enemies.
Yeah.
Which means if they roll a natural 20, you can go, no.
It is always nice to deny your enemy a nat 20.
Yeah. So you can use it in any situation. So it's like, this is beautiful. I love it to death. And then I'm going to talk about the next domain that was right under it, and it's the domain I want to try with the Luck domain one day. And that's the Madness domain. I want to combine the two one day, just to do fuckery.
I mean, you'd be modifying everybody's rolls all the time.
Yeah, all the time. It's just like, holy shit. I'm just not sure if I want to take any subdomains with Madness. I think I just want to keep base Madness and just go with Fate domain. And just go with it just all the time. I feel like that would be fun.
Sure.
You get some decent debuff spells, which are fun. Don't get me wrong. You get some really fun debuff spells. You also get Phantasmal Killer.
Which is incredible, yeah.
And just yelled from the other room, fuck that spell. She hates that spell so much. Like, so much.
It's a fun one.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I love it. Yeah, we know. It killed you twice.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate that spell so much. Oh, What's the next one? Oh, let's see. Insanity domain. We don't care. So magic subdomain. If you're gonna do magic subdomain or magic domain, play a wizard.
Well, I'll say this: the magic domain. If you don't have a party wizard, this can get you some of the best stuff. Like a cleric with, say, magic and fire. You don't need a wizard. Screw the wizard.
Yeah, that's true. You can do magic and fire, and you can do some crazy shit with it.
Now, Hand of the Acolyte is garbage. Ignore it. Dispelling Touch, amazing. You essentially have an extra dispel magic per day to fuck with your enemy's cast spells, and you get additional ones as you level up. And on your domain list, you get Identify, you get Magic Mouth, you get Anti-Magic Field 2 levels earlier than you would get it as a cleric. You get protection from spells, and you get Mage's Disjunction. It's one of the better domains for adding to your capabilities. Now, if you have a good wizard in the party, it's not stuff that you absolutely have to have, but it is a very potent domain.
Yeah. There is that. There is a subdomain under it, which is honestly worthless, and that's the Divine subdomain.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, hi, I'm going to be a cleric that takes subdomain in cleric.
Yeah.
It's like, why? So there is that. Nobility, I've never really liked that. It gives you leadership for free.
Leadership.
Which some DMs are like, nah, fuck that.
I think I have come around to the idea that if you are in a Pathfinder game, you either say you cannot take leadership, or the game becomes exactly about leadership.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but I just probably would not allow that as a character pick, unless everybody was interested in doing, like, this is what our army is doing. So yeah, nobility, I don't see a lot for that.
Yeah, just no.
The plant domain.
Oh, the plant domain. Plant domain is actually useful, though it does fall a lot into what Druid does.
Yes, and if you have a Druid in the party, absolutely do not take this. You're just encroaching on their shit.
Yeah, but
if you don't,
I'd highly recommend it.
There's some excellent spells on there. A lot of them are ones that you do not want. I think. Do you get any of them, actually?
No. Not a single one.
So that is an entire set of 9 spells that you otherwise would not have.
Yeah.
So that is one of the better ones for your versatility.
Yeah, it gives you complete versatility. That's why I said take this. Jesus Christ. Just for the spell list.
Yeah.
Other than that, don't care. Protection domain, I'd say shrug.
Let me see. Resistant touch. Aura of protection. Oh, and you get a resistance bonus yourself, and essentially that first ability lets you transfer it temporarily.
Yeah.
The abilities are good. The spells don't do a lot for you. Though at upper levels, I think you get Anti-Magic Field early, and you get Mind Blank and Prismatic Sphere, which, if you get to those levels, that's great. Those are 2 fantastic spells. But
yeah, I would say, honestly, you're better off going with a subdomain called a Defense subdomain. You get rid of Resistant Touch, and you get Deflection bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And then to replace Sanctuary, you get Shield. To replace Shield Other, you get Bark Skin. And to replace Repulsion, you get Deflection.
Yeah.
And those are all amazing spells.
Yeah, solid picks.
I mean, they're all very solid picks. the repose domain is like the neutral to good aligned version of the death domain.
Yep.
And it's mostly spells that are okay, except for the level 9 spell, which is friggin' amazing.
I'm also a fan of that ward against death ability.
Yeah, the ward against death, like I said, it's okay spell.
No, the ability.
Yeah. The ward against death is definitely great. Gentle rest, also great. The abilities are great, and the level 9 spell is great. The other domain spells are like, not awesome. Other than that. But, not terrible. The rune domain, I've never been a fan of. I've just never gotten into it.
It's very thematic, but
yeah,
not thrilling me.
Yeah, I never could get into it. Strength domain could be fun, especially if you do it right. Because enlarged person is damn helpful.
It is.
Clenched fist is also cool.
Stone skin, great spell.
Yep, stone skin's back on there. Same with grasping hand and crushing hand.
Yeah,
those are good
this would
spells to
make
have.
a good battle cleric.
Oh yeah, you do strength domain and you throw in like a two-handed weapon and you just go to town on your enemies. And you just whack them. Sun domain's okay, especially if you're going to face a lot of undead.
Yeah, channeling positive energy, add your cleric level to the damage dealt. And you ignore their channel resistance. It's incredible. Yeah.
Travel domain is also really good.
I am generally a fan of the travel domain.
Yeah, I've found great uses for it. Mainly due to the fact that it's been like short-range teleportations, because the biggest problem I've always run into clerics is that, they don't move very fast.
Right.
And so their limited mobility options have always been problematic.
But here you get to add long strider, fly, dimension door, teleport, greater teleport. It's a great selection of mobility stuff. And you increase your base speed by 10 feet.
Oh, yeah. And that works out great.
Yeah, travel is one of my favorites when I've made a cleric under Pathfinder.
Yeah, because, like, every complaint I've always had with people who've played cleric has always been like, oh shit, I can't get to, the targets fast enough, or, by the time I get there, everything's dead already, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you're a cleric. It's like, well, let's see if we can't help you fix that somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
that's the way to fix it.
Next, we're getting into one of the other favorite domains of mine.
Oh, what's that?
The Trickery domain.
Oh, the Trickery in Pathfinder. Yes.
Adding 3 class skills to make you a secondary rogue, that's okay. Copycat, kind of neat.
Yep. The fucking spell list.
The fucking spell list. Disguise self, invisibility, non-detection. Do you get non-detection normally? You do not.
No.
Confusion, you do not. This actually might be a full 9 spells.
Let me check. Not on clerics, not on clerics. No, non-detection clerics get.
Oh, they do?
Yep, they get non-detection. Non-cleric, non-cleric.
I clicked on it, and D20 PFSRD doesn't say that they do.
Let Let me double check.
Maybe they get it at a different. No, I don't see it at any cleric level for
well, let
non-detection.
me. God damn. Trickery 3. Why are they saying that they get it, but they don't?
Maybe because they get it from the domain potentially.
Yeah, it's weird. The place I'm looking says they get it, but they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think this is.
They get mislead though. It says they get it at a spell level ahead of wizards. Same with screen.
D20 PFSRD doesn't show that. That's weird. Are you looking at Archives of Nephthys?
I was checking RPG bot real quick because they list it who gets it real quick. I'm gonna check Archives.
I think RPG bot is including things from domains.
Yeah. No, because they don't include things from domains because as soon as
then they've made an error because both the Archives and D20 PFSRD say that clerics don't get it.
Yeah. I was just pulling up the cleric list on Archives.
Yeah. So I think that the Trickery domain gives you 9 new spells.
Pretty much.
And they're great spells, to be honest. Just all kinds of sneaky shit.
Especially Time Stop. Time Stop is fucking devastating.
Uh-huh.
Like, straight up, like, I'm going to fuck up everybody.
Yeah, and Time Stop, the only people who get that are, I mean, from secondary abilities, but the only people who get it on their main spell list are sorcerers and wizards. And the only way a cleric gets it that I see is from the Trickery domain.
Hey, Awesome Sauce, welcome.
So yeah, that's a good argument for Trickery there.
Oh yeah.
What's up next?
Alright, so... Well, there's also Deception subdomain, which you lose invisibility but you get mirror image.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. And you lose screen and you get project image.
I think I'd rather have screen personally, but...
Yeah, same here. Sudden shift. You lose copycat. You get sudden shift. Yeah, I think honestly I'd just go with straight trickery. War domain. The war domain. Oh boy. Let's see what we got here. Battle rage, which is basically you lose the ability to cast spells. Finally caught you online. Yeah, you finally caught me online, man. It's damn, man. You always keep missing me like a ship in the night. But Weapon Master, man. Oh my god, Weapon Master is a beautiful ability.
Being able to use the feat of your choice, that's pretty good. It's a solid pick for a melee cleric. The spells aren't particularly inspiring. I think until you get 7th level, you're looking at stuff.
Words.
Yeah, once you get to 7th level, then they actually kick into gear, but everything else you get already.
Yeah.
But having access to the 3 main power word spells is pretty nice.
Yeah, the blood subdomain is okay. The tactics subdomain is pretty neat. Which you get to pick an ally that really needs to go first. Which is kind of helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You get to basically decide to go, this person gets to go first. No matter what. I was like, that's kind of cool.
So I probably would always prefer the base ability.
OBS disconnected.
Oh.
It reconnected, though.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm sorry. Apparently we had a chat issue. Hi. Hopefully, you know, everybody's still there. Make sure everybody's still... Yeah, it still says everybody... hopefully everybody's still there. That was weird. Disconnected for a split second. That was weird. Okay, that, but yeah, there's also the ocean subdomain. If you're playing an aquatic game, that's definitely worth going. Weather's domain is okay.
Yeah, I like the abilities. There's some decent spells on there.
Yeah, and that's
not.
Yeah.
Not knocking my socks off exactly, but it would be a solid pick. Not ashamed of that one.
For races, basically anything that gives you wisdom, and I think... I got something stuck on my teeth. I hate when that happens. Sorry. Anything that gives you either wisdom or charisma, and con, I'd say are good choices. I feel like that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, the only other suggestion I have is... what else could you do? If you're playing a cleric, keep in mind that you're going to be mostly support.
Yeah.
In some form. You're not going to be like... How do I put this? You're not heals bitch, but you're definitely not the main damage dealer. You're not the main... You're not the upfront person. You are there to make everybody else do their job a little better. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, then do that. It's difficult to get a cleric to do different. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I will say that in terms of beat picks, a cleric can do worse than to pick up things that enhance their ability to do the channel divinity. Having the ability to do it extra times per day, or get selective channeling so you can, exclude enemies from the burst of healing.
Yeah, that's good.
Good stuff. Almost always, every cleric I've seen played in Pathfinder at some point picked up that selective ability, just so they could do healing bursts without healing the bad guys.
Yeah, you don't want to heal the bad guys. Need to do an all-cleric party. Yeah, Anne mentioned that earlier, Squidgy. She said she wants to do an all-cleric party one day. And I think that's a great idea. It could be fun. I feel like we could have a lot of fun doing that. God damn, my freaking dinosaurs end up being shit. The scientists need breaks. Other than that, I don't think there's really much for us to cover under clerics. I think we cover, because the big thing about them is definitely their domains.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing your domains is the biggest thing that customize your cleric. Race and gear are kind of secondary choices, along with what was I about to say? Skills. Those are also like good secondary choices, but like your domains and your deity definitely play into that heavily. And I would heavily be mindful of that. Because if you're not careful, you can, how do I put this? You gotta be careful, because if you pick the wrong things for the wrong people, you could, have a lot of party strife. And that could be bad. So keep that in mind. Also, clerics, you don't have to worship a god.
Sure.
That is something that some people don't realize. With clerics and paladins, you do not have to worship a deity. You can just simply worship, you know...
You could have a philosophy.
Yep.
You could worship a pantheon of gods rather than an individual god.
Yep. Yep, that is also an option. Those are all good options. And that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And you have to keep that in mind, because it's like, hey, sometimes you just have to go, fuck it, I follow my own belief system. Fuck the gods.
Yep.
Like, the gods are dicks.
I had a game where one of the player characters was playing a gnome monk who was an atheist, and this was in a setting where gods had literally, you know, manifested avatars and walked the earth. And the way he reconciled that, like, literally the gods have been in this neighborhood. How do you not believe in gods? He's like, well, they're not gods. They're super ghosts. And he always thought of them as super ghosts. And I was like, all right, fair enough then.
Yeah, or they're superpowered beings that are just assholes.
Yeah, he just thought of them as, you know, spiritual entities that could do stuff, obviously very powerful, but he just did not think of them as gods in a sense.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny to me.
Oh yeah, it was just like, why? Why would I think this is a god? This guy's a dick. He's just a dick. It's like, come on, man. But either way, we should probably at least say good night to people, because it is 9 o'clock.
Indeed.
Alright, let me pause my game, because I also have someone messaging me about changing their character. So let's find out where we're going. Alright. We got Peyotising, who's doing Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. Melissa in Denial's doing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. She hasn't been on for a while. Might just rate her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I haven't rated her in a while. Alright, let's grade Melissa in Denial. She's an Egyptologist. She's fun. We were talking about clerics, so if I can. Okay, there it is. Alright, so if you are a follower, please use the following message. If you are a subscriber, please use the following message. Because we're going to show her some love. And we're going to rate her. Now make sure to join us tomorrow for Wildcard Wednesday, where we're going to be back to playing some Dragon Age, because that's what people wanted. Until 5,000 critical rolls are spent and the game is changed, or we beat Dragon Age Origins, whichever comes first. Till then, make sure you're taking care of yourselves mentally and physically. You're cared for, and I will see you all tomorrow. Toodles!
Toodles.
Stick around for the raid, alright? Because that's how you get those wonderful critical rolls that you actually spend to do things.